All right, well, I have now that it is 12:02, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us for today's TABC Talks presentation. So before we begin, here is a bit of a disclaimer. And actually, I'm going to turn my video off so you have good quality. Hold on just a second. Okay, so here's a following disclaimer. The following agency guidance was developed to improve internal and external communications and ensure a more consistent application of TABC statutes and rules. This guidance reflects appropriate processes, requirements, and interpretations based on the general situations presented herein. This guidance may not apply to every situation. Of course, if you have questions about how this guidance applies to your specific circumstances, please contact TABC directly. So we certainly encourage your participation and feedback via the chat feature. I will review the chat after completion of the presentation. If you experience any kind of technical issues, please visit Zoom's Help Center. So I'm Kara Stevens. I'm the Regional Audit Manager for the Lubbock region. Today, I'm going to be covering the Texas Responsible Alcohol Delivery Certification, along with regulations regarding alcohol delivery. Here's a little overview of the topics to be discussed today. Obviously, the first will be the Texas Responsible Alcohol Delivery, or the TRAD certification. Additional information for drivers, businesses making deliveries, alcohol deliveries by consumer delivery permit holders, alcohol deliveries by other TABC retail permit holders, and of course then a definition of tamper-proof container at the end. So who should take the TRAD course? Anyone who delivers alcoholic beverages to consumers is welcome to take this course. However, the certification only offers liability protection to consumer delivery permit holders and those who drive for them. The course provides information on how to legally deliver alcoholic beverages to consumers, how to properly check IDs, how to monitor for signs of intoxication, along with best practices for safe and successful deliveries. So where can you find this course? It is located on the TABC website. You can use our search bar feature, or you can select services, then TABC certification, then Texas Responsible Alcohol Delivery Training. This course costs $25 per person, and it takes about an hour to complete. The certificate is issued upon successful completion and is valid for 2 years. Taking this course is optional. However, we highly encourage completion of the course. The certificate may insulate both the driver and the consumer delivery permit holder from liability and consequences of certain violations that may occur during delivery. This course protects CD permit holders from the actions of the driver as long as the permit holder has not directly or indirectly encouraged the driver to violate the law. The driver must hold a TRAD certification or complete the delivery using an alcohol delivery compliance software application that meets TABC regulatory requirements. So what does this mean for the delivery driver? The driver is responsible to ensure the alcoholic beverage is handled and delivered legally the moment they take possession of the alcoholic beverage. The delivery driver should take the course so they know delivery laws. These include the consequences for delivering alcohol to a minor. The driver could be charged criminally with a Class A misdemeanor for a first offense. The penalties include a fine up to $4,000, up to a year in jail, and possible suspension of their driver's license for up to 180 days. Other possible consequences can occur due to delivering an alcoholic beverage to an intoxicated person. The penalties for this violation include, for the first offense, a fine of not less than $100, nor more than $500, confinement in jail for not more than 1 year, or both. And for a second offense, a fine not less than $500, nor more than $1,000, confinement in jail for not more than 1 year, or both. So an illegal sale may still affect the driver or the business. By having the TRAD certification, the driver is offered some protections if they make an illegal delivery to a minor or intoxicated person. But that does not protect the driver or the CD permit holder from possible civil liability. Civil liability allows a person who is injured or suffers property damage to sue the provider of the alcohol in civil court. This law says that you, as the delivery driver and the person providing the alcoholic beverage, are responsible for making sure that alcohol is not delivered to an intoxicated person. So now let's review businesses who may deliver alcoholic beverages to consumers. First, I'm going to review the consumer delivery permit. The following businesses may apply for and hold the consumer delivery permit: delivery companies and the following TABC retail permit holders. Those include the package store permits, wine-only package store permits, wine and beer retailer permits, wine and beer retailer off-premise permits, retail dealer on-premise licenses, and retail dealer off-premise licenses. The following must also hold the TABC food and beverage certificate. Those include the mixed beverage permits, private club permits, private club exempt permits, and private club malt beverage and wine permits. Please note that manufacturing or wholesale tier permit holders are not eligible to hold the CD permit. So effective September 1st of 2019, the Texas legislature made it legal for a delivery driver who is employed or contracted by the holder of a consumer delivery permit to deliver alcoholic beverages from a retailer to a consumer. Examples include Instacart, Postmates, Shipt, and Faber. The cost for a 2-year CD permit is $10,000. So deliveries may only be made to an address that is legal or wet for the type of alcohol being delivered. The location must be within the same county, city, or town as the retailer's premises and up to 2 miles beyond the city or town's corporate limits. It is the responsibility of the driver to verify if the delivery location is legal for the type of alcohol being delivered. Deliveries must be made to another physical address that is not licensed or permitted by TABC. Alcohol may not be delivered to a customer waiting in an area near the retailer that is directly or indirectly controlled by the retailer. An example would be like a parking lot or a boat dock. So what are your content requirements? Alcohol packaging requirements and limitations are determined by the authority of the underlying retailer that makes the sale to the consumer. And I will review this information in upcoming slides. Alcoholic beverages that are sealed by the retailer permit holder must be placed in the trunk of a vehicle, the area behind the last upright seat of the vehicle, if the vehicle doesn't have a trunk, or a glove compartment or similar storage container that is locked. All alcoholic beverages delivered must be in some form of a closed or sealed container. It may be a container with a sealed lid or an unopened original container, such as a can or bottle. No matter how the beverage is contained, it is a best practice to place it in an area of the vehicle that cannot be accessed or by the driver or passengers. So the following are the requirements of employees and delivery recipient. For the CD permit, deliveries must be made by a person who is at least 21 years old, holds a valid driver's license. And before leaving the retailer, the driver should receive the following information: the address where the alcoholic beverage is to be delivered, the name of the individual who made the purchase, or if they designated another person to receive the delivery, that person's name, verification that the delivery address is wet for the sale of that alcoholic product. Deliveries must be made to a person who presents valid proof of identification. They must be 21 years of age or older, and they may not be intoxicated. And they also have to be present at the actual delivery address. Delivery should be completed during the underlying retailer's legal hours of sale. Drivers may complete a delivery outside the time if the driver receives the alcoholic beverage from a retailer during legal sale hours and completes delivery within a reasonable amount of time after leaving retailer's premises. If the driver experiences an incomplete delivery, then the driver must return the products to the retailer as soon as reasonably possible. The driver and delivery company cannot sell the product to another person, and the retailer must document all returns of undeliverable alcohol. So those were for the consumer delivery permits. Now let's review the TABC retailers who may deliver alcoholic beverages to consumers with or without the consumer delivery permit. First off, who cannot hold this? The holders or who cannot deliver. The holders of brewer's license and distillers and rectifier permits may not deliver alcohol to consumers. The winery permit holders may deliver and may also ship beverages using a carrier's permit. A wine and beer retailer's off-premise permit, retail dealer's on-premise permit, and retail dealer's off-premise permit must use a CD permit holder or hold the CD permit themselves. Package store and wine-only package store permit holders, they do not need any additional permits. A wine and beer retailer's permit must also hold a local cartage permit in order to deliver. And the following must also hold a TABC food and beverage certificate in order to deliver. Those include the mixed beverage permit, private club permit, private club exempt permit, private club mixed beverage, malt beverage, and wine permit. So here are the requirements for our winery permits. They may either contract with a delivery company that holds a carrier's permit to have the order delivered to the consumer, or deliver the wine order directly to the consumer by a winery employee. Winery permit holders may ship wine to the ultimate consumer, including ultimate consumers located in dry areas, or they may transport wine from one wet area to another wet area, across even a dry area, if that course of transportation is necessary or convenient. So the only way they can actually deliver to a dry area is if they use a carrier's permit. Wineries may deliver any amount of wine subject to the allowed per person limitations, which is not more than 9 gallons within any 30-day period, or more than 36 gallons within any 12-month period to the same consumer. Alcohol must be in containers sealed by the manufacturer. And there is no limit on the size of the container. The delivery person must be 18 or older, and the recipient must be someone at the delivery address who is 21 or older. Delivery should be completed during the winery's legal hours of sale, unless delivery is being completed by the holder of a carrier's permit. So now on to our wine and beer retailers off-premise permits, the retail dealer's off-premise license, and the retail dealer's on-premise license. In order to make deliveries, these businesses must hold a CD permit, or they may contract with a delivery company that holds a CD permit. This also applies to brew pubs that hold a BE license. Deliveries may only be made in areas that are wet for the sale of the product and within 2 miles of the corporate city limits. For BQ and BF retailers, alcohol must be in original containers sealed by the manufacturer. BE retailers may put beer-based beverages in containers sealed by BE permit holders. There is no limit on the number of beers, ales, or wines that may be delivered to the consumers. So your delivery person must be at least 21 years of age or older. They must hold a valid driver's license. The recipient must present valid proof of ID. They must be 21 or older, and they may not be intoxicated. And they must be present at the delivery address. The delivery must be completed during the underlying retailer's legal hours of sale. Now let's review our package store permit and wine-only package store permit. They may self-deliver or use a third party to hold a consumer delivery permit. They may only make deliveries within the corporate limits or 2 miles of the corporate limits of the location city, county, or town. The delivery area must be wet for the sale of the product. There is no limit on the number of beers, ales, wines, and/or distilled spirits. Your alcohol, though, must be in an unbroken original container sealed by the manufacturer. The delivery driver must be 21, must hold also a valid driver's license. The recipient must also be 21, hold a valid driver's license. They may not be intoxicated, and they must be present at the delivery address. This delivery must also be completed during the retailer's underlying hours of sale. So your wine and beer retailer permit holders, they may deliver the order if they also hold a consumer delivery permit. They may contract with a delivery company that holds a CD permit to deliver, or they may self-deliver if they also hold a local cartage permit. Now, your brew pubs that also hold a BG permit are not eligible for off-site delivery. Deliveries may only be made within the city limit or 2 miles of the corporate limits of the retail locations, city, or town. So now there is no limit on the number of beers, ales, or wines that may be delivered to the consumer. Alcohol does not have to be accompanied by a food order. And the retailer can put wine and malt beverages in a container sealed by the permit holder. Your delivery driver must be at least 18 and hold a valid driver's license. Of course, your recipient still must be 21, have a valid proof of identification. They cannot be intoxicated, and they must be present at the delivery address. The delivery must be completed during the retailer's legal sales hours. And this isn't just any old mixed beverage. This is your mixed beverage restaurant. So it's a mixed beverage that holds a food and beverage certificate. They may deliver alcohol with food orders to customers, contract with a third party acting as an agent of the mixed beverage to make deliveries, or use independent contractors holding a consumer delivery permit to make deliveries on their behalf. Brew pub permits who hold a mixed beverage with an FB may also complete deliveries. Deliveries may only be made to a location where the sale of alcohol is legal within the county, where the business is located up to 2 miles beyond the city limits, which the business is located if that city crosses a county line. Please note that permittees may not deliver alcohol to another licensed or permitted location. So any number of malt beverages, wines, and or distilled spirits may be delivered under the following circumstances. The alcohol is accompanied by a food order that was prepared on the business's premise. There is no required food to alcohol ratio. Malt beverages and wine are in their original containers sealed by the manufacturers. Distilled spirits are in original single serving containers sealed by the manufacturer and not larger than 375 milliliters. An example of this would be a cocktail kit. Alcoholic beverages mixed with other beverages or garnishes and stored in a tamper-proof container, clearly labeled with the permit holder's business name and the words alcoholic beverage. Example, in-house mixed margarita or growlers of malt beverages. Your delivery driver must be 21 or older, hold a valid driver's license. And of course, your recipient, as always, must be 21, have that valid proof of identification. They may not be intoxicated, and they must be present at the delivery address. Now, there's a little extra here, though. This recipient must also sign a receipt acknowledging the pickup or delivery, or the individual representing the permitted business must acknowledge the completion of the pickup or delivery through a software application. This information needs to be retained for at least 1 year following the transaction and should be able to make those receipts or data available to TABC upon request for audit purposes. And the delivery must be completed during the retailer's legal sale hours. We're on our last section. So now let's go over our private club permits, private club exempt permits, and private club malt beverage and wine permits. So these retailers may deliver alcohol with food orders to a member of the club. Use club employee acting as an agent of the inn to make deliveries, or use an independent contractor holding a CD permit to make deliveries on their behalf. These deliveries may only be made to a member of the club located off the licensed premise and in the county in which the private club is located. So any number of malt beverages, wines, and or distilled spirits may be delivered in the following circumstances. The alcohol is accompanied with a food order that was prepared on the business's premise. As with your mixed beverage, there is no required food to beverage ratio. Malt beverages and wine must be in their original containers sealed by the manufacturers. Distilled spirits need to be in original single serving containers sealed by the manufacturers, not to exceed 375 milliliters. And then your alcoholic beverages mixed with other beverages or garnishes and stored in a tamper-proof container, clearly labeled with the permit holder's business name and the words alcoholic beverage. Your examples still are, your in-house mixed margaritas or growlers of malt beverages. One last time, the delivery driver needs to be at least 21. They need to hold a valid driver's license. They your recipient must, present also proof of identification. They need to be 21 or older. They cannot be intoxicated, and they must be present at the delivery address. The recipient must sign a receipt acknowledging the pickup or delivery, or the individual representing the permitted business must acknowledge the completion of the pickup or delivery through a software application. As stated before, these need to be retained for at least 1 year following the transaction, and those information must be made available to TABC upon request for audit purposes. And your delivery must be completed during the underlying retailer's legal sale hours. So what is a tamper-proof container? So this applies to our mixed beverage restaurant permit holders and our private club permit holders. These tamper-proof containers, it is defined as a container that, once sealed, clearly shows whether it has been opened. The term includes a cup or similar container that is placed into a bag that has been sealed with a zip tie or stapled or sealed with shrink wrap or a similar seal. Okay, we're to our presentation summary. So retail permits discussed in this presentation can deliver their products to consumers themselves or through a licensed third-party company that holds a consumer delivery permit. According to statute, below, on-premise permit holders may sell to go and deliver orders for alcoholic beverages that have been mixed by the retailer or poured into a large container. Those include our wine and beer retailers permits, retail dealers on-premise license, which is malt beverages only, and our mixed beverage restaurant permits, and our private club registration permits. And both of those must be in those tamper-proof containers. That tamper-proof container, again, is defined as a container that's, once sealed, clearly shows whether it has been opened. The term includes a cup or similar container that is placed into a bag that has been sealed with a zip tie or staple or sealed with shrink wrap or a similar seal. Alcohol being transported must be locked away in the transport vehicle until delivery and clearly marked as an alcoholic beverage. Your TRED certificate course is available to provide delivery drivers with information and training to ensure deliveries are made in a responsible, timely, and safe manner. And of course, criminal penalties may apply if deliveries are made to a minor or an intoxicated person. Okay. So if you have questions about the presentation, so our live viewers, please, if you have any questions or anything like that, please fill it out in the chat feature and I will go over those here in just a moment. Anyone who's watching this afterwards, just please send an email to stakeholder@tabc.texas.gov. I want to thank you all for watching. And if you have any suggestions for upcoming topics, make sure that you also send those to stakeholder@tabc.texas.gov. And help us improve this programming by participating in a short survey following the presentation. That's for our live viewers only. So. I'm going to turn my video back on. Hello all, hope you all enjoyed that. Let's see, I'm going to go through my chat really quick. Okay. Someone said, Brianna, we have clients that hold an E subordinate. Can you explain how that is different from an ET? Well, they're actually very similar. I would need to know who your client is with the E. Like, are they what kind of business are they? Are they a package store? Brianna, if you can, I'm going to check. They hold a BG. things changed recently on the different permits and things. Let me, Brianna, I'm going to ask, I am going to look into that, and I will. I wonder. I wish I would have printed, I wish I had my printout right in front of me of all the permits that changed here recently. Let me get back with you on that one. If you want to email me, it's kara.stevens@tabc.texas.gov, and I will get you that information just shortly after this, because I know some things have changed, and I'm going to apologize for the fact that I am not 100% on that at this moment, and I don't want to give you bad information. So yes, Brianna, I will get you that answer very shortly. Miss Amy Harrison, thank you for the good job compliment. Most retailers believe someone has a CD permit, they have been vetted as well as their program with TABC. Is that correct? Well, yes, if they have a CD permit, they had to send us their program that they're going to be using. So yes, we do review those programs, and I mean, it has to be submitted to us for us to verify that it's actually using the correct information and pulling our correct information from our website. So yes, we do review those. So I'm assuming that's probably like vetted. So that's what I would consider vetted, is that we had to review them. Thank you, Brianna. Yes, I will get that to you in just a little bit. Yes, well, Amy, you're right and everything. So P's and Q's actually no longer have to hold the E permit. That's actually now included in their permit, which is why I want to, before I answer that about the BG, I want to ensure that I remember everything that has changed. Is there whose ownership? Amy, you said, is there ownership provided so they know a wholesaler doesn't own them? Whose ownership? Are you talking about the consumer delivery? Okay, consumer delivery permit. I mean, yes, I mean, they have to fill out an application just like everyone else that says exactly who they are. So, you know, we're going to check to make sure who is applying for that permit, to ensure that they are not part of a wholesaler or manufacturing tier, to ensure that they're not holding a permit that they're not supposed to hold. And yes, Amy, I will get you that answer as well. Ordered person and the receiver, does it have to be present at the delivery? What if a husband ordered and wife or friend is present? Is still legal to deliver at the address? If they make the order, so say your husband makes an order to the house for the wife and everything, they're going to need to ensure that they state that the wife is the delivery recipient. So maybe, yes, he does make the order, but he's going to state that the order can be delivered to this person and give her name, so that they can verify that she is the person and that she is 21. Like, we need to, that's your biggest concern, is that the person that you're delivering it to is of age, is not intoxicated. But we do need to, the driver does need to know exactly the name of the person that they are delivering the alcohol to. I hope that answered your question. And I don't see any other questions. Anyone else have any other questions? Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you. If there's no other questions, then I'm going to say thank you all again for watching. And if you have any questions, feel free to, I gave my email address. If you want to email me, you're welcome to email me. What if it's not scannable? Your IDs, I mean, all Texas IDs I know have the little code on the back to be scanned. I mean, even just your regular ID, not even a driver's license. Oh, if it's damaged. That's really difficult to verify whether or not a damaged ID is a true ID, because for the most part, they should, I mean, they shouldn't be damaged. And if they are damaged, it should be really difficult to get them damaged. And people who have a damaged ID should go and get a new one. I have a personal story about that, but I'm not going to go into it. But yes, I was informed though, whenever I had a damaged ID because I accidentally washed my ID, that I needed to get it updated and get a new one. So, I mean, people really shouldn't have damaged IDs, and that would be a red flag that it may not be an legal, true ID. So that's really, it is a judgment call for the driver, for the business, whether or not they're going to accept things like that. And then at the same time, if they accept something that is damaged that maybe comes back because it wasn't an actual ID, I mean, you're going to face the consequences of that. So it's really important to ensure that they are true IDs. Same with your expired IDs. I mean, again, those are going to be company policies of whether you accept them or not. Just know that if they are not an actual ID and it comes back that they were fake IDs, that's going to come back on the business. It is going to affect the driver. It's going to affect the business. TABC wants you to make sure that they are an active, true ID. An expired ID doesn't fit that. So if you made that sale and you made the choice to sell it like that, then whatever consequences come, that's going to happen. So you're going to want to ensure that they are not damaged, that they are not expired, that they are true IDs. Okay, this one's a long one. Let me scroll up. Oh, thank you, Ashley. The law states that they have to verify age and not have to scan the ID. It also has to be delivered to someone 21 or older on the premise, not specifically the individual that placed the order. So they could ask if there is someone else at the location that is of age that could provide identification. So as long as you have a way of verifying the ID, verifying their age, you know, when you look at them and you can tell that they're certainly over 21. So there are some young people that look over 21 and they're not. So, and then you have some people who are over 21 that don't look like they are. So yeah, that's why IDs are very, very important to check. What happens if a delivery is made to someone on the day their ID expires, i.e. their 21st birthday? Well, it shouldn't actually happen on their 21st birthday because your IDs are good for 6 to 8 years. So, I mean, if it's the day that it expires, I mean, it's the day it expires. And as long as they are of age and it looks like a true valid ID. Again, I mean, as it's, they have to verify age. I mean, you don't have to scan the ID, verifying the age in some way, fashion, or form. So. Any other questions? And some of those questions are really good for our law enforcement agents and things, for them to answer those questions. So. I think that is all the questions that I'm receiving so far. I don't see that anyone's typing anything. So again, if you have questions though, email that stakeholder@tabc.texas.gov. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. If you have other suggestions for us, please submit them, and we're always happy to hear from you and happy to help in the best way we can. So thank you all again and have a wonderful day.
Hello, it's Joe. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I need to make sure that we get the chat saved.
Yes.
So do you know how to do that?
No clue.
No, okay. So open up your chat window, and at the bottom right corner should be like a dot, dot, dot.
Sure.
Okay, click on that and
Save
it
chat.
should say save chat.
Okay. I clicked
Okay.
that.
And does another box come up and tell you where you saved it at?
Oh, I think it did, and now it's gone. I think it said like show folder or something,
Yes, show folder.
and I didn't click it in time. It disappeared.
That's okay. I know where it's at.
Okay.
So,
I'm like, oh no, it's gone.
So open up your Windows Explorer.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And then go to Documents.
Documents. Yes, sir.
And then Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom. And there should be a really long file name.
Yep, the one for today. Okay.
Right, yeah. So
Meeting save chat. Okay.
So open it up just to make sure that there's something in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all the questions.
Okay.
Okay, you're the one that send that to me,
Okay.
Morgan and Jared Staples.
You, Morgan, and Jared. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Just email that to us and
Okay.
we'll take care of that.
Sounds good.
All right, so good job. No problems?
I don't think so. Yeah.
No, sounding good. So that's it.
Okay.
All
Sounds
right.
good. Well,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.